If you're counting on Social Security to help you get through retirement, especially if you're already over 60 or soon hitting that magic age, you're going to want to hear this. I don't care if you've been getting your checks for years or you're just planning to file. By the end of this video, you're going to learn exactly who's most likely to get hit first when things start shifting. And I promise you this, what you hear at the end will shock you even more than the title did. So don't skip a second. Now let's be clear right up front. There's no official letter from the Social Security Administration saying your payments will be cut in December. But don't let that sentence relax you. Because while the big loud across-the-board cuts are still years away, possibly 2034 or sooner if nothing changes, the early moves that set that future in motion, those can start long before a public announcement. And December is the month that might matter more than you think. Before we get into that, let's get the comments fired up a little. Drop your age and the state you're in below. I'm genuinely curious how many of you are already collecting and how many are still planning for it. Plus, it helps this video reach more people like us who are paying attention before things hit the fan. All right, here's what's actually going on. The most recent trustees report for Social Security says the same thing it's been hinting at for years. Without congressional action, trust funds will dry up around 2034, and your benefits may automatically be cut by around 20%. That is not a conspiracy theory. It's sitting on the government's own website in their own words. Now, some people hear that and go, well, that's years away. They'll fix it. But what they're missing is this. Before big cuts ever hit everybody at once, smaller, quieter steps hit a few people first. And those people aren't always the ones you'd expect. It's not the poorest or the youngest or the newest retirees. No, often it starts with the people who fall into the gaps. You know, folks with complicated work histories, people filing for disability, widowed spouses with layered benefits, the groups that get flagged for reviews, delays, and errors long before anyone calls it a cut. That's how you feel the change first. Not from a headline, but from a letter in your mailbox or a missing payment in your bank account. And if you think I'm exaggerating, ask anyone who's tried to file a disability claim lately. Let's dig into this, especially if you've ever thought, I'm already collecting, so I'm safe. Because what happens before a huge cut in 2034? The government has two choices: slow down the flow of new approvals or tighten the reins on the people already in the system. And trust me, neither of those options look obvious on the surface. It starts with things like longer processing times, extra hoops to jump through. Suddenly, you're being reevaluated or re-verified, even if nothing has changed on your end. And that's why December matters. Not because there's a law that says your benefits stop on December 1st, but because it's the month when year-end federal budgets are finalized, when Social Security reports its financial status, and when agencies often push through internal policy changes quietly to stay on track. If there's ever going to be a moment for quiet adjustments where the first small group of people feel the pressure, it's December. Not as a headline, but as a ripple like this. A disabled worker's application suddenly gets kicked back as incomplete. A widow's survivor benefits get paused for review. Someone who claimed early and kept working finds out more of their benefit is being withheld because of new earnings restrictions. That's not theory, that's history repeating itself. So, let me walk you through the groups that will feel this kind of impact first if the belt tightens this winter. Because it's not as simple as low income gets cut, high income stays fine. Sometimes it's the people with the most confusing situations that get caught in the crossfire. Why? Because they're the easiest to delay legally. Not cut, just delayed. And suddenly withholding a few months of benefits is how the system saves money. And guess what? Most people don't even realize it's happening until they're halfway through the appeal form. But you're not most people because now you're hearing this before it happens. So, let's talk specifics. Who's most likely to feel the shock waves first if Social Security starts tightening quietly? Number 1, new applicants for disability benefits. SSDI. The backlog is already massive. Approval rates have been shrinking for years. And as December approaches with agencies looking to control outgoing money, the pressure only increases. If you're someone just now filing or planning to file for disability, expect your paperwork to be under a microscope. Expect months, even years of waiting and more requests for documentation than ever before. Second, people with mixed or messy earning histories. This could be anyone who worked part-time, was self-employed, or had years with little to no reported income. Your benefits are absolutely real and earned, but you'll draw more attention from the system because your numbers don't fit the standard model. The easiest way to freeze costs: flag people whose data needs further review. Third, early claimants who are still working. If you claim before your full retirement age and still earn income, you already know Social Security clause back part of your benefit if you go over an annual limit. What most folks don't know, that limit could quietly get reduced in a budget cycle, meaning more people suddenly have their benefits withheld. You won't hear we cut your benefits. You'll see a withholding adjustment on your Social Security statement. Lastly, and this one surprises most people, survivor beneficiaries, widows, widowers, or dependent parents, who have layered benefits, especially those who remarried or received income from more than one source. These claims are complex, and when the system gets tight, complex becomes delayed or worse, temporarily suspended pending verification. Here's the truth. These early moves don't come with a megaphone. They come as envelopes in your mailbox or a pause in your monthly deposit. And this winter, as Congress wraps up another gridlocked budget season, is exactly the window where quiet changes tend to slip through. If you're thinking, well, I'm okay, I don't fall into any of those buckets, hang on, because even if you personally dodge the first wave, the rest doesn't stay still. Once a system starts tightening, pressure eventually reaches everyone, especially those without a plan or those who assume this doesn't happen to people like me. Here's the good news. Even if you're in one of those risk groups, the fact that you're watching this means you're already ahead of most people. Awareness is your greatest defense. Cuts may not be splashed across headlines, but the symptoms show up early. So do the letters, the login notices, the odd "we're reviewing your file" messages. I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to do the opposite, to make sure you're not caught off guard. So, here's what I want you to do. No matter what, log into your My Social Security account at least once a month. Check your earnings record. Make sure every year of income you worked is showing up, because an error there can cost you hundreds a month for the rest of your life. Keep your banking info up to date. Watch for any letters marked action required. And if you filed or are planning to file for disability supplementation or survivor benefits, stay on top of every document they ask for. Delays often come down to something as simple as one missing sheet of paper. Another thing, don't ignore your gut. If your payment is late, if you get a call requesting verification, or even if something feels off, that might be an early sign, not of the system collapsing, but of it straining. And when it strains, the people with the cleanest files and the closest attention to detail stay standing the longest. If you made it all the way here, you're already showing that you're not passive about what you've earned. That alone puts you in the minority. And I'll say this, we're heading into a stretch of years where staying informed is going to matter more than ever. Not panicking, not getting outraged, just staying alert and ready. If you found value in this, and I hope you did, consider subscribing. I don't do hype, I don't sell fear, and I don't feed you fairy tales, but I will keep showing up with the real conversations nobody else is having, especially about the systems that are supposed to hold us up when we've already given them everything. The future isn't set in stone, but it is in motion. Let's watch it move.